Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Right, it's Friday. Friday's the day of the week we turn to the BonBon buddies over on Patreon and say, hey guys, vote us in a map. And they've gone with this one. Originally a request by the retired Mandalorian. Yes, they're back with another request. And it's a very good shout. A very good shout indeed. Not necessarily the most technical of maps in terms of design, but boy, what a memorable map in terms of design. It's worth at least an extra half a star for aesthetics just on the design. You're not going to forget it. You're not going to forget it. Very solid map. It does have one issue regarding specific mod, which has come up in exactly the right. I've been planning for this. I knew it was going to come up. I've been planning for weeks for this. And this week it all changed. So, new speech. But before I do any speeches, I've got a little task. Yes, it's the daily reminder. That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Astmoor by Wreckyard. Now, this has got a real good look to it. You may not have heard the name Wreckyard. They have done a few maps, and if they're all as good as this, they might be worth checking out. There's your start square. That looks pretty playable to me from up here. Very happy with that. There's your terrain heights. Fairly buildable, I would say, across the whole. Even the hills look slightly leveled out. Very nice. Resources are strong and localized, and plenty of forestry if you want forestry. And if you have Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, I mean, we've got tuna in the lake and anchovies and the salmon, and it's all over. It's all good. Off to the workshop. What do we need? Well, there's no one-click collection, but Network Extensions 2 is listed there. Also, the Unlimited Trees mod. We'll be using the Realistic 1.4.5 European theme, the Realistic 1.2 LUT, and there's a few trees to subscribe to as well. And down the ground level. So, Network Extensions 2. You know what I was going to say, because back in October I said Network Extensions 2, it's kind of broken. We need to move on from it. Better not to use it. Any maps from this point on released after this point we're going to have to talk about, which is like today. So you don't really want to be using Network Extensions 2. It's going to affect your score because it can be broken depending on which mods it's butting up against and all of that. And then this very week, Network Extensions 3 came out. Now, I've not played with it yet. I've had a quick look at the comments and it doesn't seem to be broken or any like. There doesn't seem to be any problems. So that's great. However, we're not using Network Extensions 3 today because this map was released back in December, which was after my warning video. Now, let's change the subject for a moment. Coming up towards a bridge, and notice the terrain elevation here. A little bit of glitching going alongside here, just the height variant. That hints that there might be a problem coming up with the bridge, and there is. Just a little minor problem with the bridge. It looks okay from here. As we come around to the side, the pillars aren't aligned. How? I'm just going to say how a couple more times. How? I'm done now. So anyway, and then we head onwards. Right, so as we come down from the bridge, which, well, enough talking about the bridge, we go underneath a footbridge, which we'll come back and look at later. There's plenty of things to look at. And then we are into the meat of the map. Now, the meat of the map has a lot of foliage on it, hence the Unlimited Tree mod. This is Unlimited Tree, not Tree Anarchy. Remember, they're not mutually agreeable with each other. Slight little bit of janky going on there. Just a tiny little... It's janky because we're supposed to be coming from the opposite direction. Okay, does that make sense? Good, lovely. And then we head down to our intersection. We've got some encroaching foliage on the road. This is the start square intersection, actually. We've got a crossover in the middle of the crossover, which again isn't going to please everybody, but it's nice to see something a little bit different from the norm. And then this is your start square area, which is an interesting shape, an interesting buildable zone. Putting the lines of terrain on for those of you that want to see it. And the map, while it is sort of ish flat in terms of it's not mountainous, it is a bit bumpy all the way across in a realistic kind of way. So if you're a kind of a beginner, or you really like to have flat maps, well, it's not really the map for you. Again, of course, though, if you've just got yourselves the airport's DLC, well, that does the leveling out for you. So that's something that's a nice thing, isn't it? I think that's a nice thing. And of course, the soil, the rules of the soil have changed now as well, so you can buy and sell it as well. That's also nice if you're into that sort of way of playing the game. So many different ways of playing the game. I try not to judge. I've not played vanilla for years, because once you've broken the game, once you've beaten the game in terms of building a city, the unlimited money is like, well, it just slows you down, doesn't it? That's basically what it does. It just like prevents you from being creative. I've already beaten the city once, so I don't want to do it again and again and again. So like that one, by the way. Anyway, network extensions 2. So if you're using network extensions 2, it's time to switch to network extensions 3. Alternatively, there are multitudes of other options and DLCs and so forth. But yes, do try to just. I still have no problems with network extensions 2. It's okay by me. I just know there's more than a handful of people that are now working with a broken mod with network extensions 2. So best to avoid it for them. Again, elevation differences on the roads there, but not so bad that it's not really an issue. And I've got to say, the European 1.4.5 European theme, wow, it's a slight glitching there between the terrain there. Yes, it's a lovely theme. The things you can do with it, it just feels proper nice, and I mean proper nice. Heading up the hill now to the next bridge, and I think this one didn't need to be elevated. Well, it needs to be elevated to be a bridge, but it didn't need to elevate any higher than it did already. And that one, you see, we've got some height. We've also got a bit of bumpiness going on with the bridge as well. And then that comes back down. That could have stayed level. That could stay level, or maybe, just a slight elevation. Just a slight. Didn't need to go as much as it did there. And then, of course, we got the trees on the road again. Now, again, for those of you that are new to the show and wondering, why are they on the road? Right, okay. Anarchy. I use Anarchy. I use an Anarchy setting that shows the trees that are under the road, because trees that are under the road are part of the tree count. So it's good to know that they're there. But it also means that if you wish to detail, again, we've got some road elevation, road height issues going on there. That one's almost on top of the other. Just a little bit there. So yeah. So I have it so that it shows through, so that detailers who want to detail under a road and have some foliage showing through it, or more normally under an abandoned railway line, and to have grasses or whatever showing through it, you can. And then the trees which are part of the tree count, they show as well. But of course, if you play with the settings so that they're switched off when you load the map up, it's fine. They won't show at all. It's not a big issue. Let's put it this way: if you're playing vanilla, or if you're playing without Anarchy mods at all, those won't show through. It's not something that you should worry about. It's not something you should worry about, full stop, to be honest with you. It's just a game, isn't it? It's somebody's creative experience with a map that they've shared, and you build a city on it. And like gradients on the rail, got a slight up there and a slight coming down on the other side. This isn't a real rail. We're not playing Transport Fever, where the trains worry about gradients and stuff like that. No, we're playing Cities Skylines, and the trains don't really care at all. They don't care if it's a train. They don't care if there's a branch line there. Trees on the line, they don't care. They just go straight through them. And that's fine. It's fine. It's all about suspension of disbelief and that kind of thing. So these are all talking points. This is partly to help you find the next best map for your next set you build, but also we're a community. It's nice to have a bit of a laugh together when we see a drowned tree, or if we see some bizarre factory castle combo that's never been done before, and we'll have a laugh at it. And enjoy the work. Oh, now this gradient for me is just a little bit steeper than would be in a regular realism style build. And although this map is like a fantastical build, it does feel somewhat realistic as well. Like here, that's pretty neat. I just like the general standards on this map and the overall design, and even down at ground level. Even though we've got this fanciful, flirty, flighty style of fields and mountains, down the ground level you can't really make it out. It just feels quite nice. Anyway, we'll take a brief intermission. We'll come right back after this and check out the shipping routes, because there's bound to be.
Are you baffled by how YouTubers put detailing on their assets? Are you frightened that something called anarchy would break your game? Then you need the BonBonB's Beginner Guide to Anarchy. Click the information button now.
Just as I was talking about anarchy as well. Brilliant. Right, back down to Astmoor by Reckyard and the shipping routes. Now we have this shipping route, which at first glance seems excellent, and then it backs back on itself, gets a little close to the shore, but not too bad, and then heads back off the edge of the map, more or less where it started. You're going to have all those ships doing that weird loop there, but that's fine. Less fine though that there is not another single shipping route all the way around the edge of the map where there's a lot of coast. I find it's a weird shipping route. It'll work, but there's only one place really you can put your harbours. Water flow though, no problem with that. It is a fantastical sort of map, and we've got a fantastical water flow, but it's strong and it works. So if you like to pump and draw, you are good to go. Right, so what have we got? We've just got this lovely swooshy design. It just feels like it's all flowing out into the map, and it's almost I was going to say Picasso, but it's almost Picasso, isn't it? Almost. That's high praise, Reckyard. You're Picasso. Loving the way that the mountains have been done, with the slight stripes going on with the tree detailing. It just feels right. It feels absolutely right. And then we have, like over here, we've got the same again. We've got the ridge along the top of the mountain. It's just a very slick, neat design map. And also, look, flat. The start square is a bit bumpy, but once you get away from the start square, there are flat areas like that swoop there. Let's just check another one of the fields. Over here, the fields are a little bit sloped over here. It's still definitely a buildable map, definitely. Okay, right. So we've got this footbridge, which dead ends here. Where does that go? Well, that follows all the way down to the river. Okay, and what about this one? This one. Okay, right, so this has been put in there because of the big old bridge. Everybody loves a big old bridge, and it's just a way of going around that. Okay, it's a long walk, mind you. Another walk would be to come up this way to, it's a castle. What's this castle going to be like? Do you think it's going to be a good one? Yeah, I think so. It's okay, actually. It's fine. I've got one minor issue with it, really. But I don't mind that. That's an interesting shape, an interesting location, and we've managed to keep the walls out of the towers. Oh, the gates are a little bit on the outside of there. What's going? Oh, now we've got walls going through the towers. Okay, so we got a little bit of detail sloppiness there. But my big problem here is the gaping hole in the front of the castle here. This looks like it's quite narrow, but let's pop down a road and have a look how many cells that takes up between there and there. Right, so we have, what, 1, 2, it's about 5 cells wide. Each cell, of course, is 8 meters. That's 40 meter wide. So if you're an invading army, you've got a 40 meter wide hole to charge into there. It just seems a little bit wider than maybe it needs to be. Also, it's never ever going to be like exactly accurate. I mean, a lot of these gateways will be wider than would be realistic, but that looked even wider than would be realistic. It's back to the gradients again with the rail. If it's okay on the eye, it doesn't matter if it's slightly steeper than realism. If it's okay on the eye, but then when you get something like that, 40 meter wide gate, well, that is you notice it, and if you notice it, it's too wide. I think so. Anyway, we have national roads, obviously network extensions too, national roads, and I'm liking some of the routes of these as well. In fact, I have no problem with the networking at all, not the routes. Yeah, we do have a little bit of foliage under some of them, but the routes are fine, they're interesting, they break up the map a bit. I'm going to take a right rather than going straight over. We're going to end up roughly in the same kind of area. But I'm going to take a right because there's going to be another dirt track down here that's going to lead us to... Oh, look at the top of the hill. They can even make out the trees on the top of that. You can see they just seem a bit silhouetted. Whereas the trees up there, they just feel quite part of the environment. There's always something to think about when you're putting trees on the top of mountains. How do the trees look when silhouetted against the skyline? And yeah, not my favourite. It's just a personal thing. Again, it's all these things are just personal things. Onto this dirt track. The dirt track is going to lead us somewhere very exciting. Are you excited? Are you? Are you? Really? Oh, you're sadder than me. Anyway, yeah, dirt track leading down this way, and at the end of this dirt track, we're going to find something which is okay. And then, oh, well, I saw it coming. Yeah, one of these things I saw coming. So anyway, down here we've got, well, just like an old abandoned burnt out shed. You can see the plate where it just elevates a little bit out of the landscape. But you might say that it was deliberately built there. Okay, I'll give you that. I'll give you that. Having said that, down here we've got non-terrain conforming grasses that hover on the steep edges. And yeah, that was always going to be a thing. If that wasn't the feature area, it wouldn't matter too much, but it was. The essential lighthouse in blue. In blue. Yep, I have no issues with that. And then, of course, we have more of the windmills, and we are going to have to check to make sure this is a windy area. It is a little bit elevated, so that's fine. And then if I pull back here, it's the only elevated bit in that area there. But we are down by the water, and there's usually wind by the water. Let's have a look. So yeah, that's about the only place there. On the islands probably would have been better, but also more difficult to get to. Do you know what? I'm okay with that location for the wind farm, the little mini wind farm. I think it makes sense to me. Right, what more have we got? What more have we got? I think we're more or less done. Let's go back to that start square. Where was the start square? I'm trying to remember the start square is. Oh, it's over here. Right, and we have, of course, the asset of the day. Nice one. Nice one. It's a very nice one. Lilienherz. Love Lilienherz's work. This one is the Osnabrück Domhhof 4 corner. Very Germanic. Germanic is the word. Nice building though. I think it's definitely usable in pretty much any Central American. What's that European continent we're on? Ah, yes, Europe. Central European build. This would work very neatly on. And factoids, because factoids. Today's one, nice short one, because I'm kind of a bit bored of reading these long ones. So I thought, let's dig out a small one today. And I've lost it. Where's my notes? Here we go. Ready. Australia is wider than the moon. How do they know? How do they know? scientists say. They think they know everything these days. But do they know that there's a Domhhof 4 corner in Osnabrück by Lilienherz? They do? Unless they didn't, they should do now. There you go. Lovely asset. And it's on fire. Oh, no, it's chimney. It's fine. It's okay. Panic over. And if you got the new DLC with the vehicles, you'll have some new fire engines to play with as well. Ooh. Yes. No, seriously. Have you got the DLC? Let me know. I want to know. Right, okay, what do you think of today's map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen, or the link in the description. It will take you to the voting page where you can vote for free with a Facebook, Gmail, Apple, or a Patreon account. Speaking of DLC, yeah, DLC specials coming very soon with 11 new DLC maps. But what do I think of today's map? Well, aesthetically, I love the design on it. It's swoopy, it's swooshy, it's Picasso. It's not next level, but it's memorable, and I think it's worth an extra half-star for this alone. I'm gonna take it up to a middle 4. Yep, I like it enough for that. Detailing, I think there's plenty of little things that can be done to bring it up just a little bit. It's bordering on that 4th star. I don't think I can quite give it. I'm going to go for a very high 3 stars. It's strong, pretty strong. Gameplay, it's one of those awkward things because network extensions too. I'm gonna nudge it into the 4th star, but only just. But it's probably better not to have network extensions too now. Astmoor by a wreck yard, so I would have scored it higher than that for gameplay if it wasn't for network extensions 2. If we had network extensions 3, for example, or an alternative. But a very solid map there, very solid map. But I can't give a seal of approval for any map with network extensions 2 now. Well, anything after October anyway. Not that the map lacks anything at all. Anything. But do you lack the ability to use the comments, use the word of the day? If you do, then don't leave the word of the day in the comments to prove you're part of the 20 and out elite. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.